How's that for a sparkly new intro? I like it. I like it. It
Very
is
nice.
Monday night, shortly after 6 o'clock Central, but we don't have to fucking talk about that. Mind your business. However, what we will talk about is you have not seen us on a Monday night since the last Monday in July when we had a finale. That means that this is the premiere of season 2 of our Babes and Blades campaign, this one being titled Igniting the Fires. So we find ourselves here in episode 1, so aptly named Home is Where Your Meds Are. Thought you'd appreciate that. So I will give an inspiration to whoever wants to give us a 2-minute rundown of where you are currently at the beginning of this. Like what led you to the start of this campaign. If you just want to recap the last episode, because that's probably the most helpful part, that's also okay. Don't everybody all jump at once. It's okay. Totally is.
Okay. I can do it.
Okay.
Just like recap the last episode.
Sure.
Okay. So we were all traveling to our next destination in our, 1,000 years ago world, looking for the cure for the cold, freezing popsicle disease. And we all sort of glitched out and woke up in a creepy hospital ward hooked up to a bunch of beeping machines and IVs with a rather dickish PI. I believe his name was Hawkins. And apparently we're all a bunch of crazy, like violent people or people with violent histories. And we've been attached to all of these machines simulating an ancient environment and putting us all into the sort of minds and experiences of ancestors of ours looking for the cure for this disease. We've all been there for varying amounts of time. And apparently it takes us a while for our quote unquote real world memories to come back. So, yeah, we're all sort of multiple personalitying this at this point. I called the PI a dick like 7 times.
Rightfully so.
Principal investigator, BT Dubs. Sorry. PI. Yeah. The guy in the lab coat who seemed to be in charge.
Professor?
Yeah, the professor.
Doctor,
Yeah.
professor, yeah, the in charge dude.
The head douche.
Head douche in charge.
What is that? The HDIC?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Works out.
Yep.
Works out. Checks out. Yes. Yeah, so aptly named Dr. Dick.
Alliteration is excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, Dr. Dick. We like it. Dr. Richard Hawkins.
I forgot his first name. Thank you.
It wasn't Richard, but it is now.
I feel like it kind of needs to be.
So, you guys, several weeks ago, woke up from your first experience in the Animus. Your sort of regular memories have kind of started to come back. It's been, one of those things you wake up in the morning and everything still feels misty and you're like, why am I here and not there? And then things like slowly start get easier along the way. It's been about 3 weeks or so since your last trip into the Animus. And your normal life has resumed, your classes, your extracurricular activities, whether you're somebody that does art or plays music and things along those lines. You've come to realize that even though your initial shock of waking up in what seemed like an operating theater, that this is not necessarily a science institute or a hospital or anything like that. It's more of a research institute for gifted children and young adults, things of the sort. each of you has your own room, your own space, your own belongings. You don't normally have to dress in scrubs or anything like that. Scrubs are more like if you're going in for a testing day, or if you're going into the Animus, things like that. So that way your bodies are in comfortable, loose, relaxed fit clothing, and you're not in anything that could potentially cause danger or harm to you should something go terribly incorrect. Hey, Soul, I see you, buddy. The audience out there. So it's been a couple weeks. Dr. Hawkins, you haven't seen him since you came out of the Animus. You've pretty much mostly been dealing with his assistant, Nurse Kira, who you guys all call her Nurse Kira lovingly. She is Kira Johnson, NP. She's a practitioner. She's his assistant. She your everyday daily life, making sure that you're getting into classes if you have any questions, concerns. But essentially, it serves like a school counselor to you. Very McGonagall-y, very loving, but still, behave your fucking self. Don't be a little asshole if she needs to be. And usually, she's the first person you see in the mornings when you wake up. She comes around, does your meds, gets your vitals, checks on you personally, each of you every day, as you are in the open and active project that they have going on. She usually takes time to come and, visit with each of you. However, on this Tuesday morning, when you wake up, you're woken up by just a standard orderly. His name is Steve. He comes around, and usually you get breakfast and something nice to drink with your morning meds, things like that. Steve didn't bring you any of that. He brings you a little paper cup with your morning meds in it and a little paper cup with some water in it to toss it back. He comes to each of your doors, slides it through, your little mailbox slot that you have, and leaves. As you are all female presenting, he wants to respect your space, except for Zarso, which you guys don't know Zarso yet. So Steve wants to respect your privacy and your space in the morning, so he opens your little mail hatch, gives you your meds, and leaves. Doesn't say anything else to you. Cassandra, what do you do in the morning when you wake up?
Moment I see the meds come in, I pay attention to the hands. Ah, see you're back from vacation, Steve. Tell me, does the missing wedding ring mean you finally figured out what your wife and Scotty get up to when you're busy at work here, or?
Yeah, happy Tuesday to you too, Cassandra. See you at lunchtime.
Oh, don't take I-45 today. Kind of get into a wreck, but let's be real, you're not going to listen to me. You never do. You never do. And I guess I'm looking over the very pathetic amount of books I'm allowed.
What does your room look like, Cassandra? Paint us a picture of what your personal space here in the Institute looks like. Well, hell's bells, Lucy. Thank you for those gifts, Soul. Appreciate you.
Ooh, nice. I think at first Cassandra was allowed to decorate her room, and then as time went on, they realized that was a mistake. So it's very much very little personal items. Everything is thoroughly checked. Nothing that could be used as a possible weapon. I imagine there are little runes around the room that prevent her from using magic to an extent. And probably a window that she cannot force open just after the first few escape attempts, and gives her a very nice view of the garden that she occasionally is allowed to tend to. And probably like a small bookshelf. Nothing sharp. No, just she cannot take it apart, and it's all everything in there is designed to basically be self-help books in a way, and hopes that, okay, eventually we are going to get through to you and you will stop being an issue. For the love of God, please stop being an issue. Yeah, it's still not working.
So your room is very danger proof, we'll call it. A little more clinical than you see most of the rooms here, but only for your own safety. And for your own safety, we mean Steve and all of the rest of the orderlies, because you are perfectly fine.
Yeah. I am not a danger to anyone other than a select few, but I maintain I am doing the right thing. But hey, no, let's keep going with your whole believe in a system that fails people it's meant to help. Yeah, let's keep doing that. It's working out so great for us, isn't it?
You know, it makes sense. It really does make sense for you to have a danger proof room. And so you get your meds. You hate taking them, but you know very much so that you need to do so. So
yeah, first few times of faking it, of not taking the pills, apparently goes very badly. So take small concession, we take the pills.
All right. So you see Cassandra starting to get around, get dressed into her normal daily attire, take her medicine, and pull a journal out and put it on the desk that's in her room. The camera pans down the hallway to Phoebe. Phoebe, your latch opens on your little mailbox, and it's Steve, and he slides through your morning medication. He doesn't say anything. He shuts it and begins to walk away. You're muted, Dal.
Doesn't that just track? I'll shout something. Yeah. Good morning to you too.
Yeah, morning. See you at lunch.
Dick.
Only on days that end in Y. Hope you slept good.
I will take the fucking pill. Like, I'll contemplate not taking them for like 30 seconds and then just sort of roll my eyes and chuck them.
And what about your room, Phoebe? What does your room look like as we see you toss the pills back, toss the 2 paper cups off into your trash, and like the camera kind of pans around your room? What does your room look like?
It probably has a decent amount of sort of books on one side, mostly on drakes, a few on dragons, a few on different forms of elemental magic, and then a few on sort of basic zoology, biochemistry, genetics, sort of in general. And then probably the bottom shelf shoved in with a bunch of papers and very much like, this is the shelf of shame. Like, the top couple of shelves, these are like the respected books. They are in order. They are in excellent condition. They are, alphabetized and all of that. And then the bottom shelf, the shelf of shame, is where her textbooks and notes and things for her coursework is. And it is in complete disarray. The corners are dented in. The pages are dog-eared. Notes and papers are just shoved places. Most of those are on elemental magic as well. But yeah, there's definitely like a disparate level of respect being paid to these two different kinds of books. And then on the other side of the room, I imagine there's a table that's piled high with notebooks, and I imagine there's a small sort of kitchen microscope there as well, with a couple of slides stuck next to it. Yeah.
So very much a learner's sort of space, right? Somebody who likes to study, read, all that kind of things. Okay. An academic, a scholar. A
grad student.
Yeah, a grad student. Yeah. So you see Phoebe's room.
And a giant, very nice coffee maker. With large volume.
Surprisingly having some sort of appliances in there aside from like a radio. Phoebe is lucky enough to have a coffee pot in her little study space in her room. And you see the camera kind of pan around the room and all the different books and things on the shelves, and Phoebe getting around for the day, getting dressed. And the last thing she does before the camera pans out and down the hallway is pulls a journal out and sets it on her desk. We move down the hallway in the opposite direction, and we come across Kara. Steve comes to your door, pops down the little mail slot, puts your medication and your drink through, and shuts it.
Where's my juice?
No juice today, kiddo.
You know I won't take this without juice.
Well, you can't always get what you want. I'll see you at lunch.
I will not have taken these by then.
Taps lightly on the door like a goodbye tap and walks off.
So Kara will not take that without juice. Absolutely will not. So they'll just stay there. So you'll notice that Kara is a little bit younger. Not super young, but in her like teens-ish. And her room is interesting. She's been here since she was 5 or 6. So the room is definitely a combination of like very childlike things and other things that she has collected over the years. The bed looks like it has never been slept in a single day in her life. Instead, there is, she's used the desk to create kind of like a fort on the floor, and there is an obscene amount of pillows and blankets in there. So, and that's where she sleeps. She does have a TV, and she likes to watch movies pretty much all the time, and very rarely goes to class. So she's usually in sweatpants or her pajamas and a big fluffy robe with bunny slippers. I would say the weirdest thing about her room is that there are an alarming amount of scorch marks on the wall. But Kara's pretty much going to refuse to take her medicine because Steve didn't bring her the juice. And then she's going to crawl back into her blanket hole and turn her movie back on. That's about it.
As you see Kara crawl back into her hole and turn the movie back on, you just see this little hand pop out from the blanket fort, reach up onto the desk, grab a journal, and pull it back in to her tiny little princess castle that she has built herself in her bedroom. And the camera moves out of the room to the bedroom directly across the hallway, where we find Jessix. Jessix, your slot drops and a little paper cup of your morning meds and a little paper cup of water are set in your little mail slot, and it shuts.
Sorry, busy. Can't take that right now.
Well, that'll be your problem by lunch. See you then. Bye.
Bye. And she's going to get back to writing. When you come into her room, you see that for the most part, the room is actually really barren. There's basically just like a bed in there and a couple of markers spread across the floor. And all over her walls and her floor and her ceiling are it's just like crazy writing and schematics and like weird doodles and kind of like obsessive repetitive phrases and stuff over and over and over again all over her room, and like to the point that in some places the black ink was so saturated all over the wall that she replaced it with white ink so that she could start writing over that. And she is sitting in a corner and she's writing on her floor right now, just trying to get her thoughts out of her head. She's kind of having a little conversation with herself.
So the camera moves around the room and you see all of these different symbols and lines and words written in languages that don't feel readable, and it almost looks like they're moving just a little bit as you try to focus on them to try to understand what they say. Camera moves around the room, sunlight trickles in through the window a little bit. You see Jessica on the floor, doesn't take her meds. Just before the camera drops out of the room, you see Jessica pause for a minute, grab a journal, set it next to her, and go back to all of her scribbling. We moved out of the residential wing and over towards the infirmary, and we enter into a room that we've never seen before. This room, a lot of like yours, is somebody's living quarters, but it's adjacent to the infirmary. Steve doesn't visit this room to bring medicine, but there is a young man in this room. Zarso, what does your room look like? What do you look like? And what are you doing?
So I am just in my room, already up, ready for the day, starting working with my mortal pestle, getting some herbs mixed up, getting some medicine prepared for people that are in their infirmary. I am one of the assistants that tries to assist the other doctors, but still, attending the, school and whatnot as a, participant, whether willingly or unwillingly. And, I have kind of side-swept, like light brownish hair, goatee, kind of side beards going on, dressed in kind of white, goldish robes, almost like a doctor coat, but like kind of fashioned, to look like them, but you could definitely tell it was like made myself and not well done. Trying to almost imitate like they're doing. And my room around just has a ton of plants for herbs and beakers and bottles and almost like chemistry kits with like herbalism kind of features and things. Bookshelves full of herbology studies and medicine studies and knowing what pills are what and what they do and how they affect you, and then even books on like mental illnesses and that kind of stuff, kind of going back to why I was brought here, trying to rectify what caused me to come here, and fix that kind of punishment style that I'm in now, by assisting the infirmary. But the room is also very like clean and almost sterile to a point where like you're concerned because it's so clean that you're worried for my sanity because of how well kept it is. Almost OCD like, where it has to be perfect.
And as you're kind of working on meds, Zarso, the little alarm clock that you have that sits next to your bed goes off at 5:55 because you're already up early and moving around. At 5:55, it goes off. And it's this familiar little dinging noise that you're used to every morning. It's your reminder to make and take your own medicine.
What I will do, get all that ready. I'm working on it already. Probably honestly had most of it done even the day before, just having it ready to go on a shelf, prepped up.
At 6 a.m. on the dot, the phone on your desk rings.
Answer that. Hello, who is this? I assume there's
Oh,
no
good
caller
morning,
ID.
Zarso. It's Steve. Just reminding you to take your meds.
Yep, already done.
Thank you. See you at breakfast. Bye. And he hangs
Bye.
up. And the last thing that you see from Zarso as they kind of finish getting around and going back to doing what they were doing is they quickly grab a journal and put it in the space next to them. Med calls at 6 a.m. every morning. All of you are used to that. You're usually up a few minutes early because you don't like being woken up rudely by poking and prodding. So you get up and get your shit together and you be ready for all of that. If you're not somebody that sleeps, then you're not somebody that sleeps. About 7 o'clock, you hear the PA system. It's the same annoying on tone for every morning as the PA system blips. And this morning, it is not Nurse Kira, it is Steve. And Steve says, "Good morning. It is that time. All of your favorite times. I know you would rather hear Kira, but unfortunately it's me. Get out your journals and make sure you add any new side effects of your medication and things to it then, and we'll see everybody for breakfast in 1 hour."
Vex is just going to scream to her room that she still doesn't have juice.
Jessix is like, "Oh shit, does that mean Nurse Kira isn't here today? Damn it."
This is going to cause insomnia in 2 weeks.
Phoebe's journal says nothing about meds or anything relevant. It just says, "Where's that centrifuge I asked for?" Like 4 times.
And Zarzo's journal will have a very detailed account of the medicine, the process, the order of operations to every single step of making, taking, and the results they are having.
Jessic's notebook looks very much like her walls. Nobody will be able to understand what it is that she wrote. She thinks that she does.
As long as she thinks that she does, that's all that matters. So you spend your hour in the morning doing your morning journal. 8 a.m. rolls around and it's breakfast time. And something like a school bell sound kind of rings about 5 minutes until 8 a.m. So that way it's like a, hey, breakfast is getting ready to be served warning for everybody. And when you get to the cafeteria, if you decide you want to go for breakfast, if you don't have to, you can stay in your room. When you get to the cafeteria, it is a very nice cafeteria. It is set up a lot like a college campus sort of cafeteria would be, where you have the different style restaurants that you can go to. There's a salad bar, like a little Asian stir-fry place. There's a place that has gyros, Greek salads, stuff like that, more Mediterranean, lighter cuisine, fish stuff, pizza, pasta, that kind of thing there. Just about everything that you could think of wanting to have, but it's all breakfast stuff. Aside from the salad bar is always the salad bar. There's juice in the machines and things like that. There's some standard tables, tables and chairs lined up. And then there's some more cozy spaces. Ones that are more like when you go into a Starbucks, you see how they've got the little table and the soft chairs, things like that. There's a fireplace or two out there, some like reading nooks, some solo space, some group space, bigger tables, small ones. Very open, relaxed space. The lighting is kind of low for breakfast time. That way, it's not hurting anybody's eyes. Some people in the institute do have sunlight sensitivity, so they try to, keep it at a good medium low in the mornings before they kind of kick it up to regular lighting during the day. And you see several different students from all ages, shapes, sizes, different everything of a wide variety of different individuals in the sort of cafeteria when you come in. And you see some staff in there too. They're staff. They're wearing staff uniforms. But you do not, again, see Nurse Kira here, where she usually is standing at the front, with her arms crossed, monitoring everything going around with a smile on her face.
So Vex is not going to pass up breakfast. But she is going to knock on Phoebe, Cassandra, and Jessic's doors as she's leaving, and do her best to wrangle them away from whatever they're doing to the cafeteria. I don't know if she succeeds, but she's going to try. And then when she gets there, she's going to make an ungodly cereal bowl mix of every option that they have available that day.
So a cereal suicide.
Yeah, basically. And before finding a big comfy beanbag to sit down in and eat it dry. There is no milk, okay? It's just dry cereal.
Make me a con save, Kara, when you get in there to the cafeteria to sit down.
Uh-oh. Oh, dear.
Oh.
That is a 8. That is an 8.
Okay. You're going to take a level 1 exhaustion as the side effects of not taking your medicine are starting to set in.
It's not my fault. He should have brought me juice. Well, so I'll just go into a sugar coma on the beanbag. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Who else is going to breakfast?
Jessix will eventually go to breakfast. She kind of takes her time doing it. First she makes a beeline towards the nurse, and she's like, "Hey, I've got some stuff I've got to run by you." And so she pulls out that notebook and she starts walking through every single page of the notebook, and the nurse basically just sees a bunch of black and white scribbles. So that's how she starts. And then from there, she goes to get her tray, and she really has a lot of trouble making up her mind about what she wants to get. So she gets a little bit of everything. And when she gets to her seat, she just likes to sit at in the very middle of the room and just kind of swivel and look at everybody. And she doesn't actually eat much from her plate, even though she has a little bit of everything. She just kind of nibbles every once in a while. And every once in a while you see her look at a piece of food that she's about to eat, and then she sets it down and grabs something else. And she's just it's very convoluted.
Yeah, so you see Jessix with a plate that has 3 different kinds of eggs, several different breakfast meats, fruits, some breakfast pastries, all different kind of things around, and just little tiny portions of each of them. And she just takes a bite or two out of them. Jessix, I would also like you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Ooh, I got some real good Constitution. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Okay. So you do not yet feel the effects of not taking medicine this morning. Zarso, do you go down to breakfast with them?
Yes, promptly so. Right when that time would start and they're starting to serve. I'm gonna grab my breakfast all nice and neat, trying to be a well-behaved little person here. grab all my stuff, head over to a reading nook with just a random book I pull off the shelf just to start reading something. Sit down, eat my breakfast, have my book, observing the room occasionally, watching people, seeing how other students are, the teachers, trying to model, a prime behavior of just, I am good, I am okay, I am here.
Yep.
And just
So
existing.
you're fairly new to Hawkins. You've only been here about a month and a half. So you're still kind of trying to settle into the everyday way of life, make friends, kind of find out where you fit as somebody who's like junior staff, but also still attending the institute. It's just kind of like this awkward, but like the good kind of awkward transition space where you're still getting your footing, but it doesn't feel like terribly because you're fitting in pretty good. You've made some friends, a couple of the older generation of people here who also are junior staff members, are very friendly towards you. They've all been in your shoes. They understand what it feels like to be in a place after something in a place like this after something tragic had happened. And so, you get a couple of people that you work with or have classes with that'll come by and say hi as they're sitting down. And the last people that come around to you before the camera moves away from you is a set of twins, red hair twin boys named Bill and Ted. And they're both extremely obnoxious as they sit down at your table, and they're like, Zarso, check it out, we made this new thing. And they almost speak in unison as they put on the table in front of you what looks to be the fruit flavored Tootsie Rolls. And they're like, check these out, we made prank candies. And he's like, eat the green one. And you just kind of look at them like, I'm not eating any of the creations. I know. And they start like explaining to you what each of them do. One makes your nose run really bad. You blow booger bubbles. The chocolate flavored one gives you really stinky gas. They just start going through what each of these like little flavored candies do. And they're like, we're going to sell them to everybody. And it's going to be chaotic and exciting at the same time. And then the camera moves away. Phoebe, Cassandra, are you guys going for breakfast?
Yeah. Cassandra will go like a minute or two after Kara knocks. She will go grab an apple, find her normal corner to where she can kind of view the entire room, and she waits for today's psych student to come over, as they do every day. Because, hey, gotta have some fun. And for Cassandra, that's breaking these poor, miserable bastards.
What'd you get to eat?
Apple. Just an apple.
Just an apple.
Yeah.
And you see a young lady, just as you suspected, heading in your direction. She's walking very excitedly, kind of bouncing on her heels. She's wearing clinician's uniform. She's got the long jacket. She's a pair of glasses on, a badge that says, student aid. And she's holding a stack of folders and a notebook. And she comes over to you. Good morning! You must be, hold on one second, let me look at my chart. Cassandra. Hi, I'm Penelope. Nice to meet you. And she reaches her hand out.
Oh, no. See, I know where that hand has been. I'd rather not. You do not clean up as well as you think. Which, by the way, good job on getting that whole teacher's aide position. Tell me, how long did you have to spend on your knees for Dr. Alexander? Oh, wait, I don't need you to tell me. I already know that. It was approximately 72 altogether.
She kind of gulps for a minute, like wow. And then looks down at her notes and sees like the big red kind of box note on the side. And she taps it with her pen. Yep, they told me this was going to be an interesting one. And she sits down. Well, let's get started, shall we? And she asks you the first question, and the camera pans off.
All right. Let's go.
To Phoebe. The only one that didn't go to breakfast yet, Phoebe.
Phoebe, I think, is going to go to breakfast, but she's a little late getting down there because she has a scale that's coming in like on her neck and it's itching, and she has some cream for it, but her room is a mess and she can't find it. So she's a little late getting to breakfast because she's itchy and miserable and can't find her stuff. But she'll eventually give up on it and make her way down there, and she'll be just like scratching at this one spot on her neck. She sort of has bronze like scales coming in like on her cheeks and around her face and down her neck. But she has a new one coming in and it's itchy. And I think she will grab, if there's coffee in the cafeteria, she will get it there. If not, she will bring a mug from her room. And probably grab like, I don't know, something weird, like a banana and 3 strips of bacon or something. And I think she'll see Cassandra over in the corner with her latest victim and kind of like give the head nod from across the room. And yeah.
Where does Phoebe sit when Phoebe sits down?
She'll probably go over to where Jessix is and hand her one of the pieces of bacon. And just sit next to her and, keep doodling on whatever she brought with her, and occasionally like attempting to like force feed Jessix something from the plate of many wonders that she has. Like, no, stop, open mouth. Okay.
For a second, Jessix is like, oh, fuck yeah, bacon. And then she like goes to take a bite of it and she's like, oh, no, I can't have that, and sets it down.
Trying to make sure that Jess actually like eats food and doesn't keep getting distracted. Like, one bite for me, one bite for you. One bite for me, one bite for you.
Kara has definitely fallen asleep with her cereal spilling into her lap and across her chest.
And since Phoebe was a little late getting here and like the session with Cassandra is already going, she's probably going to kind of like surreptitiously look around and lean into Jess and go, has she made this one cry yet?
No, but she's getting real close.
That would make 4 this week. She's on fire.
I think it might be a new record.
I know. Breakfast and a show. It's great.
So you have breakfast, each of you. Some of you sit with your friends, some of you sit off alone, and some of you torment staff as is your everyday morning routine. You could see the clock on the wall, and you're having your breakfast, time's rolling around. You're kind of just chilling because you're pretty set in the schedule by now. 6 a.m. meds, 7 a.m. journal, 8 a.m. breakfast, and you all look up at the clock, except for Kara, who is sleeping, and you're watching the clock like, God, oh, here we go. Maybe not Cassandra, who's enjoying making the new intern, shit herself as she sits down for the first 5 minutes. And you notice that it's almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah, this has been really fun. Penelope, was it? Yeah, I think I'm done here. It was so much fun talking about how your whole dead mommy and daddy issues led you to being the person you are. Good job trying to guess that was the source of my issue, but We've already been through this song and dance. I'm growing tired now.
Okay, so we'll reconvene tomorrow morning right around the same time. I'll bring you a green apple this time since you're eating that red one. Thanks. Have a good day. And she kind of like gets up quickly, and you could tell she's like talking through gritted teeth, stifling back any sort of negative reaction that she would have had to any of your comments. And she gets up and she kind of like clears her throat, gathers her things, and walks away very quickly. Almost could be mistaked for jogging away.
Oh, don't eat the tuna tonight. Doesn't end well for you.
She totally made her cry. Look at her. You can see her cheeks all glossy. It's so cute.
At 9 a.m. on the dot, over the loudspeaker, you hear Project Mako, please report. And the loudspeaker closes off. That's you, your Project Mako.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is that us?
Do you think is that loud enough to wake Vex up, do you believe?
Probably not. I'm going to assume that this is regular for Kara to do whatever Kara does whenever Kara wants. And your friends probably know well enough that if you're not bouncing around in their faces in the morning, that you're falling asleep somewhere soft and comfy. So I'm sure somebody will come and kick you in the foot to wake you up. But the loudspeaker does
That sounds about right.
Jessix does not have enough social awareness for that.
Kara, darling. Poke, poke, poke.
You'll see her foot kind of like twitch.
Kara's not how big is Kara? I know she's young, but like short, tall.
She's definitely like probably like 4'7".
Ah, great. If the poking doesn't work the first time, Phoebe's just gonna go yoink and like unconscious piggyback. Yeah, totally small enough for that.
Yeah, I'll probably that probably won't even wake. Yeah.
Yeah. Wakey, wakey, darling. Wakey, wakey. Pull out a piece of bacon, like run it under her nose. Like smelling salts.
Ooh. Oh, bacon. I will reach for that.
Eyes must be open for bacon. Open your eyes. Or no bacon.
Steve didn't bring me juice. I can't be awake without juice.
You know there's juice here, right?
It's the principle of the thing.
Do you want juice? We can go get juice. Or do you want bacon? You have your eyes open for both.
I want bacon.
Open your eyes.
And I'll just like open them comically large. Like,
all right.
Nibble, nibble, nibble.
We're
Jessica's
good.
gonna walk over and get some coffee. That is the only reliable sustenance that she will take, is a big cup of coffee.
Grab me one while you're on my hand. A little full.
Got it.
She grabs one for me too.
When you go to get coffee, Jessix, usually Nurse Kira brings you guys around some coffee, but she's not here today, as you have begun to notice. So you have to go to the regular coffee bar. And it actually kind of pisses you off a little bit knowing that you have to go to the regular coffee bar because the only thing that they serve in this institute is Senka. And so you're very frustrated that you're going to have to drink decaf this morning, but dirty bean water is still dirty bean water, and there's cream and sugar to maybe add diabetes in the mix if you wanted to.
I'm going to try and juggle 3 cups of coffee because I've heard a rumor that 2 cups of decaf coffee equals 1 cup of regular coffee, or Jessix has. And so that's what she's doing. She's like very carefully trying to juggle it.
I think after a second, Cassandra will come over and help you carry the coffee. You're gonna drop it.
I'm
like
just
you did
eating
last
bacon
time.
on Phoebe's back.
Phoebe's definitely not walking gently. Like she's bouncing you all the fun to try and make sure you don't go back to sleep.
So you leave the cafeteria together, and you head out and over to the actual like study research institute part of this kind of a university thing that you're in. And when you get to your normal meeting room, you notice somebody else sitting in the room, which is very unusual for you because usually it's only the nurse and her assistant and you. But Nurse Kira isn't here. Her research assistant hasn't walked in the door yet. And there is a gentleman sitting at one of the tables in the room, just kind of waiting.
Where's Nurse Kira?
The gentleman, I probably should have said, the gentleman at the table, Zarso, is you.
Okay,
You are.
I thought so, but I was like,
You're also Project Mako, but they haven't met you, so.
okay, as they'll kind of come in kind of an excitement of like, oh, people, I kind of spring up. Hi, I'm Zarzo. Rushing over to shake my hand. Are you guys a part of the project?
You are not Nurse Kira, and she's gonna kind of like.
We kind of
no,
are the
I'm-
project, and
I'm with the project. I'm not like running it. I'm I'm with you guys.
So no authority whatsoever.
Not here. No. I assist in like the infirmary area. You know, I help with healing and medicine, but not
oh
here. No.
joy, they're putting a freaking narc in with us. Excellent, wonderful.
A
Will you
knock
put
to
in my-
hear if I were to lodge a complaint would do me absolutely no good. So double terrible.
You still
Hey,
haven't
hey.
answered my question about Nurse Kira.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Useless.
I wish I did.
You have to tell Steve that I have to have juice in the morning or I don't take my meds. Kira knows this.
Well, did you communicate that to him?
Yes, and he said I can't always get what I want.
Oh. I don't know how much I can really assist with that. I mean, I can pass along a message, but you know, they're still like the true authorities. I mean, I don't know how much say I would have.
What's the point of having a narc if you can't do anything?
Seriously. Although, if you are passing messages, pass a message to Dr. Hawkins and tell him that we had a deal and that I am overscheduled to draw blood from my drakes and that we had a deal, and make sure that you mention like 4 or 5 times that we had a deal because it doesn't usually sink in until time number 4 or 5.
Is that anyone to do with like the medicine stuff? I didn't really have like connections there.
You mentioned that you could pass a message. I'm just giving you a
Oh.
message to pass.
Okay, I mean that one probably not, but I mean I'm still kind of new here, so I mean I don't know like who to pass that to.
I'm going back to my initial assessment of useless.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
kind of
know.
like go back down to my seat, looking kind of defeated, and just kind of like go back to my book and kind of just. Oh,
Kara will come up to you and get uncomfortably close and be like, "What you reading?"
it's a book about herbs, some of the medicine we take.
Oh, do you like things other than medicine? I like movies.
I mean, yes, you know, I play, you know, before I was here, I like to play video games and go places and movies and, you know, out camping and outdoors and experience things. But when I'm here, I'm trying to rectify, you know, what has happened and to really better myself. Trying. It's not going so well so far, but the attempt is there.
I've been here for a really long time, and you know, you gotta loosen up, I think, because otherwise it's just it just sucks.
Oh, he's not gonna last a week.
I mean, I've
So
been here
you're
about a
the
month
one-
so far. And
You're the one
kind of okay.
responsible for the dry as fuck, really hard to swallow pills that keep us from nuking this place.
I mean, not in the sense that you're thinking, but I help study them.
Can you
Could
study
you
a gummy form?
Study a way to make them go down a bit easier. I've gagged on them 3 times this week, and it's really unpleasant.
Is that why we're writing in these books?
It does help, yes.
Heads up, this formula is not gonna work like you think it does. It's
Kara?
May I suggest with your gagging issue that you simply work on that and try something possibly larger to fix that.
Are you suggesting I work on my gag reflex? Is that I just want to make absolutely clear that is in fact what you are suggesting to me right now.
I like this
I mean,
one.
I mean,
I like this one.
that's the only solution I can think of.
Right. Okay.
You can't
I
sponge
was
this
starting
one,
to feel
Phoebe.
bad about calling you
Phoebe,
useless, but I am taking back all of those nice things and all of my regrets. It is but to crisp. You are in fact useless, and I don't know what to do with you now.
Don't punch
Oh,
him.
don't mind her.
I like
Have you
this
looked
one.
at your career as a courier or a message carrier?
One more time, I'm sorry.
Have you looked into a career as a courier or a message carrier?
No.
Secretary, maybe?
No, I don't think I would enjoy that very much.
I don't enjoy swallowing your pills, is all I'm saying. And
Well, they're
your
not
advice is
mine.
utter shit.
I mean, I just help study them.
You hear the
Phoebe,
door.
stop being mean.
You hear the door open behind you as you're having this kind of conversation. And the room that you're in is it's not as clinical as a majority of the spaces in the research institute part of the institute. It's more of like kind of what a study would look like, with the big mahogany bookshelves, a large desk at the front. There's a globe in there for some like added effect, and one of those little ting ball things that sits on the desk too. And then like there's rows of like the longer tables facing the desk, kind of like study tables in a library would look like. It's pretty much a miniature study room of a library is the place that you're in. And walking in the door this morning is not Nurse Kira, and it's not her assistant. It is actually, for the first time in a month and a half, that you'll be seeing the professor.
Fucking this guy.
But I'd rather have Steve back.
And with a big pink box in his hand, and he's holding a carton in his other hand. And he comes.
That to be my centrifuge.
It's apple cider and donuts, not a centrifuge.
And what'd you put in this batch?
Well, Cassandra, don't you think
think-
you'd know if he put something in it?
You're like a drug sniffing dog, but like a really cute one.
Yeah, but he likes making new ones. He likes making new stuff to put in.
Can I say no thanks to the donuts and politely, for the 5th time, request my centrifuge?
Can I just show you my book and get out of here? I want to go back to my projects. I have a lot that I'm working on, and I just have to focus. I don't need any donuts. I'm fine.
I also have a lot to do, which would be easier if I had my centrifuge.
He kind of ignores all of your requests. and in his typical ignoring your request type of fashion. And he sets the donuts and apple cider down on the front desk where Zarso is sitting. And he smiles, and he just smiles at you. He doesn't say anything to you. And he walks over behind the desk and pops a drawer open and pulls out a big red file folder. And you recognize this file folder. It's the same one that Nurse Kira gets out every morning. It has project notes and things like that. And he also pulls out this little device that kind of looks like a miniature laptop. It's like just about like this big. My green screen would stop. It's only like this big, and it does fold open. And he sits down behind the desk, and he just asks, "Does everybody have their notebook?"
Jessix is immediately enthralled with the little contraption that he has and tries to very subtly take it from him.
You can look at it when I'm done. How about that?
Fine.
I will take
I
out my
have
notebook
mine.
and open it to the page where I wrote, "Where's my centrifuge?" 4 times. And close it, and then sit very politely in my chair.
I will have mine ready to go, pen at the ready.
Mine is open to Steve forgot my juice.
Just gonna casually fling it over to him. Journal. Done.
Jessix opens hers and like scribbles a few more things into it and like slides it over to him, and enjoy that. It's going to be fun for you.
And he walks down like the center aisle and picks up the journal off of each desk. He stacks them all together and turns around and sets them back on the desk and turns around. As you can see, we're adding a new person into your group, and you see you're missing some faces. That is unfortunately how these projects kind of work. Sorry, just gonna have to accept it. This is Zarso. Please introduce yourself, young man.
I kind of met some of you already. But yes, I am Zarso. They classified as like a junior staff member, but still, in projects and whatnot. But I assist in the infirmary and medicine. Here to study my healing magic and arts with that. And just trying to better control my powers, I guess, around that.
So, what'd you do to get sent here? Who did you kill?
I mean, can we talk about that here? Is that okay?
Oh, if
He
you
kind
can't
of
talk
pats
about it
you.
with us, then who?
Yeah, he kind of pats you on the shoulder, gives you like a it's okay to talk about it kind of thing, but also that kind of like, you're new here, kid, you'll get used to it kind of thing. Like, it's like a very weird, endearing, but not at the same time kind of thing. It's just this awkward interaction, and he's just a really awkward individual in your presence, and he kind of skirts around every question that you ask him, which is totally normal. So you'll get used to that also, and it really pisses people off. But it's just how he is. Hence the name Dr. Dick. It's a really, really a term of endearment. Honestly, Dr. Dick is. It's just
All right.
Says
All right.
you.
Well, I'm here. My best friend suffered from really bad migraines, and I was, in school to be part of the healthcare, like nursing industry and field, and I thought I could try and help with medicines that I've made to help with their migraines. And when administering them, my healing, kind of powers came out, and I ended up causing my best friend to go brain dead.
So you tried to play God.
Cure.
You played
But,
God.
I mean, the care was there, but just the knowledge and skill set was not.
That doesn't sound particularly violent. Aren't we here for violent acts?
I burned down a
I mean-
school.
I mean, he, is basically dead, but
Yeah.
just kind of, alive against his will at this point, sadly.
That still doesn't sound
Look
violent.
at that.
Unfortunate. Are we going around the table and sharing? I stabbed somebody a bunch of times.
Oh,
Yeah. See what I mean? Not violent. She set a school on fire. You tried to help somebody and they got, but
I mean, I didn't mean to, but it had happened.
I'm
Mine was
pretty
that
sure that I
sentence,
meant
though.
to.
Oh, I very much meant to do what I did.
I believe you.
I mean, from what
I
I've
felt good
gathered
in
so
the moment,
far,
but then it was like,
I also
ooh,
believe you.
the scale was.
No, not everybody that's here in the Institute is violent. You specifically was originally intended to be, unfortunately, violent offenders. Well, mostly unfortunate. Some of you intentionally violent offenders. And he just kind of shoots a glance at Cassandra and then goes back to talking. But we needed to make a few changes to the curriculum of this particular course study, and that involved adding a little bit of different personality to the mix. So we bring you Zarso, who's a sweet boy, and you should be very nice to him. And he kind of looks at Phoebe and gives this eye like, be nice. And you will be also receiving one more individual for your control group before you go back in to the Animus. You will be going back in tomorrow morning.
Just Six will forever refer to Zarso as sweet boy. Just heads up.
Great. We get to be drugged again tomorrow. Love that. Love that for us. I really do.
It's a good day. It's a good day. But that doesn't answer the question that I asked earlier about, giving you my book so that I can get back to my projects. Can we go? I've got stuff to do. You're the one that wanted me to work on these projects in the first place. Can we get that boat in the water?
Yeah, you can go back to your projects here in a few moments after we wrap up. We're just going to go through some things before we go, on about our business. You're in the Animus tomorrow morning, so you need to be preparing for that. Hopefully you've all been taking your medicine. It's going to help with the memory shock that you receive when you come back. It's going to help with sort of more biological integration into the system, and it won't hurt so bad, hopefully.
It also keeps us so incredibly compliant. Oh, or is that just a nice bonus for you?
How nice that is for you.
It would be a nice bonus if it actually worked, Cassandra.
If you want me to take my meds, you have to tell Steve to give me my juice in the morning. He didn't give me my juice this morning.
Get the juice.
Well, unfortunately for you, you won't be able to be taking the medicine with juice in the mornings anymore. C in the orange juice counteracts the ingredients on the inside of the medication, and it makes it less potent and effective.
What about carrot juice?
No. The beta carotenes interact with the iodine proteins, and it causes an adverse reaction in the mitochondrial cells of your deoxyribonucleic acid.
Pineapple juice, apple juice, cranberry juice, mango juice, kiwi
juice.
I just need juice.
You have to take them with water.
I don't like water.
What if you just put food coloring in the water? We like a little bit of sugar.
No sugars.
You could take it with coffee.
I mean, could you take it with applesauce or food?
Nothing with sugar.
Didn't you just bring donuts?
Yes, but you're not swallowing your medication with donuts, are you?
99% of Kara's diet is sugar. Really? Really?
Yes, but there's a reason we space breakfast out from your med intake, So it gives your body the time to sort of absorb before you start intaking other things. There's a scientific explanation to everything. I just don't have the science or the time to explain all of it.
No.
Yeah, Kara's gonna reach into like the pocket of her robe and totally bring out like a chocolate bar and start eating it.
I'd like to point out that studies show if you can't explain things to a 10-year-old, then you clearly don't know what you're talking about or what you're doing. So if you can't explain it to us,
exactly that same thing.
Yes, studies also show there's a difference between can't and won't. I'll leave it up to you to decide which is the proper use in this particular situation. Now, if you'll sit down and be quiet, Cassandra, I have a few things to explain. Thank you.
So bossy this morning.
He's bossy every morning.
and what will you do if I decide not to be quiet? Put me in solitary confinement? Oh no! I'm alone and not surrounded by idiots! How horrible!
He just kind of smirks at you. And Steve comes in. And Steve comes in with the biggest, fluffiest, pinkest robe you've ever seen in your life, Cassandra. And you recognize this because you've only ever had to wear it one other time. And this is the robe of sit down and chill the fuck out. And it pretty much does exactly that when you put it on. It makes you sit down and chill the fuck out. And Steve just stands there by the back door and holds the robe over his arm. And Dr. Hawkins continues on. Now, the last time that you came out of the Animus was the first time that you went into the Animus on new medication. So it was a little bit rough coming out. So we're hopeful that it won't be as rough this time. That memory lapse thing, I'm sure, gets tedious and tiring. Aside from that, you'll be on a little bit of a different mission and in a little bit of a different time period when you go in this time because there's something different that needs fixed. We have the cure for the disease now, and now we need to do a little political juggling. Do we think
How
we're
did you get
capable
the cure for the disease? We didn't finish.
You did finish. But anyway, I told you the memory lapse is a really big bitch. If I'm using your sort of terms and languages, communications.
Memory lapse isn't the only thing.
When you go back, political juggling. If you recall last time, they were in the process of setting up the conclave. The point you're going to be going back this time is an established conclave on the verge of collapse. We want to stop that from happening. We want to stop the collapse this time. You'll meet some of the similar people / dragons that you met before, but please understand that they may be very different from the last you met them.
Why would they be different?
Time goes on, people change, wars happen, politics happen, marriages, betrayals, things of the sort.
Will they remember us?
They'll remember your ancestors, of course.
I know that you live here and we live in sort of two places, but what on earth makes you think that we are the people to do any sort of delicate political juggling?
You know, I could do great in politics if you didn't drug me to the point where my intelligence plummets to the ground. Just a thought.
No, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about, well, I mean us, obviously.
Is it us or is it not us?
Other us.
I'm always confused on that.
We suck at that too, is what I'm saying. Delicate political maneuvering seems like the last thing we should be attempting.
I don't know. I think Saga could do it. She's pretty chill.
Also, the last time we went in, your intern that you assigned to my laboratory nearly starved my drakes to death over the couple of weeks we were gone. So my motivation for cooperating with you is rather low right now. And she'll hold up her journal again.
Do you have somebody else you would prefer to take care of your pet project?
Okay, first of all, pet project, hurtful. Second of all, we had a deal. And third of all, literally anyone else.
He scribbles in his notepad that's on the desk.
Not
And-
Steve, though. Please don't put Steve in charge of that.
Steve's mean.
Steve
We don't like
has been
Steve.
confused for Kara, so not Steve.
You know that Steve doesn't actually check to see if we've taken our medications.
he
that
really
seems
doesn't.
illegal.
He really doesn't.
Well, it's not Steve's responsibility to make you be responsible. If you choose not to take them, you choose not to take them. That's on you. That's your own sort of risk, I suppose you could take it. Sort of like being raw puffer fish. You could or you couldn't sort of situation, you know?
And it seems like it would make your tests really difficult. Just
Consistency is really important.
All well,
so is
this
it ensuring that one of us doesn't blow up your lovely little research institute? Just saying.
yes.
What were you going to say, Zarso?
Just all well, all this back and forth is going. I and probably anyone sitting next to me sees on my notebook, my other notebook, just your guys' names, his name up there, and notes about each of you, just trying to figure out who is who and learning who everybody is and what kind of person you are.
What do they say exactly? Now I'm curious.
And then I close the book.
Same.
Yes, what notes is the narc taking on us?
I'm not a narc.
Says the narc.
I mean, I don't really know how you think that.
You don't?
No. Again,
No, I'm a
I'm
bright one at that.
new.
I'll look up at
here.
Hawkins. You might want to. You got a better one. I think this one's effective.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm not here to get you in trouble. Obviously, I'm here to study for myself, and that's it. Whether you succeed or not is not up to me.
Exactly.
If you.
You're here to observe and report. I feel like that's the literal definition of narc.
It's
I mean,
okay,
not really
sweet
on,
boy.
like-
This is a safe space. You're supposed to be able to share your secrets.
I'm not really on your
Guy.
behaviors, more of medicine side effects. Does it hurt you in some way?
Do you want to see what the side effects are that I listed? I've got a bunch of them.
She takes very good notes.
I take very good notes.
I've seen them when you've given them over. I am. We'll say that. And helping decipher them.
He's spying on us. He's reading our diaries. I'm feeling a bit stifled right now.
I have a feeling that he's not reading my diary.
I mean, your diary, I feel like, is a different level.
I can just say the attempt is there. Whether I'm successful or not is completely a different story.
And now you know why we kept you separated from a majority of the rest of the population, because you can't be nice. You just can't be nice.
I'm being nice. You said he was a sweet boy, and I'm calling him sweet boy.
I mean, I'll-
I like doing very nice things for the world. Not my fault. You apparently the government thinks otherwise.
Part of me doubts that.
And I kept up my end of our deal, Doctor. You seem to be lagging a bit. Might want to see to that.
Typical.
Anyway, now that you're done expressing your what do we want to call complaints? Are they wouldn't be complaints. You're not complaining. You would never complain. Why would you do such a thing?
I'm complaining.
Express your concerns. Yeah, I know you're complaining. I was just trying to be polite. I'm trying to teach you how to be polite. You have a new friend. This young man could be your friend, and you're more concerned that you're being spied on in a research institute where everything is connected to a camera and doctors. And you're concerned that you're being spied on by somebody who is also here as a victim of circumstance and part of Project Mako now.
Does it not make perfect sense? I think it makes great sense.
I literally monitor your every move. Why do I need to spy on you anymore? He just shakes his head.
Because you are a control freak?
You are frustrating and infuriating, and I will put that robe on you faster than you could even blink if you do not shut your mouth with anything negative to say for the rest of this meeting, Cassandra.
I don't know. I think she's got a point. I think you're a little bit micromanagey, a little control freaky.
Kara has a question about this.
You mean like this much of a pervert? Like the other half of the spying that isn't really purely scientific?
Does Kara know what this robe does?
Yes.
Oh, so she would not be intrigued, like want it?
No.
Okay.
In the first time that you saw it, you were intrigued and wanted it, and they weren't fast enough to stop you from putting it on, but you didn't like the groggy feeling that you had when you came out of it. It's a very
so pink and so fluffy should not be so deceiving.
Yeah, it's very Ativan Halidol mixing feeling, sort of recovery on the other end of that as well. Like it's just a robe of chill, you know? It is the robe of chill.
Non-consensual chill.
Yeah.
Well, he's making dinner.
Right.
Fine.
Again, delicate political situation seems like the last place you want any of us or anyone who used to be related to it. That seems like a terrible, terrible idea that someone didn't think all the way through.
Actually, we did think about it, and we think you're the perfect group because delicate political situation, they're doing a lot more talking than really getting things done, and it's allowing for chaos to ensue in the world around them sort of situation. So they need people who are quick to jump the gun and stab, you know?
I'm quick. I can talk, and I can make soup.
Ulsaga can also make soup. Poorly, but she does do it.
Okay, so if you want us to do some stabby stab, could you tell us ahead of time which are the appropriate people to be receiving the stabby stab? I don't want you to have to pull us out, slap us, and then send us back in. The last time you did that, it was very unpleasant, but it was your own fault for leaving us with less than adequate information.
Well, it's not really that I want you to do a stabby stab. It's more like I want you to puppeteer somebody else doing some stabby stabs. There's a few things. You'll each receive a dossier at the end of the meeting, and you'll be able to read it over for the end of the evening and be ready for the morning.
Says the
Just
person who says he's
what
not
we
a
tell in
control
that
freak.
dossier then is coming out of your mouth right now.
Are we gonna remember this time? Because it's really confusing when you don't let us remember things.
That's the hope of the new medication, is that your memory is going to be sustained. It's not that I don't let you. It's just that the way that the procedure happens, it's the sort of the natural occurrence, and we're trying to stop that from happening.
That's almost enough to let me forgive the good boy for his comment about my gag reflex. Almost.
I
watching
mean,
you.
unless you have a better idea, that's. Oh.
All right, I'm almost leaning into the fact that maybe you didn't quite grasp the connotation of what you just said. So
I'm telling
I'm
you,
still learning.
Make them gummy, okay? Make them gummy.
I mean,
wouldn't
would
be
you
opposed to
prefer like a plant paste?
Oh,
No,
God,
she said a
no.
gummy.
Yeah, it's either kind of right now. It's either plant paste or pill. So there's not really a gummy way right now.
Well, make one. That's what you do, isn't it? You learn things and you figure it out.
I can
Make
try.
a powder that I could
Maybe something
stir into some
smokable.
vodka.
I think
Everything
vodka has
tastes better
sugar
with
in it,
vodka.
doesn't it?
Yes. What's the point?
I really wouldn't advise medicine and alcohol. That would just, I think, have a bad day for you.
No one ever advises anything and alcohol. I think that's just lack of imagination.
Well, just have it by itself, then you're fine.
See, we
I
would only we're
also-
not allowed.
Oh, I suppose that is true.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I
Be a
shouldn't
lot
drink.
nicer if I had access to whiskey, but no.
Oh,
So you're here in this meeting for around an hour. Usually they're about 3 hours because it's a class sort of start out in the day. You have a different start day class because you're in a different project than most everybody else. Then you have lunch and then you have the rest of your remaining days. This day it's only going to last about an hour. About 10 o'clock rolls around and he pulls out a stack of bright teal colored file folders, and each of them containing, you know, the information that you'll need to have for the evening to read over the plans for leaving in the morning. And he leaves the room, and a moment after he leaves, he turns around and steps back in and says, "By the way, your requests have been processed." And then Steve leaves and follows out behind him.
Thanks,
And
buddy.
we're gonna be told right before we go in that they have been denied.
I mean, that's usually how it goes, right?
Yep. Yep.
So Kara's gonna go to the cafeteria and fill up a water bottle with juice before taking it back to her room.
All right.
I think Ruby's probably going to go to the room where she has her captive drakes, and is going to like pull out all of the old like bedding and branches and like give them a new set of like branches and stuff to climb on, and just make sure that they're all set and ready to go. If this stupid intern doesn't feed them, there's not much she can do about that, but she can at least make sure that everything else is sort of like set up for her to be gone for a little while.
Jessix and Kara both need to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
$24.
12.
You got a what, Osaga? Sorry?
12.
12. All right, so you're going to take a level 1 exhaustion. Kara, what did you say?
24.
24. So you do not take an added level of exhaustion this time.
Okay.
Cassandra's gonna turn to Zarso. All right. In the spirit of friendship or whatever bullshit they're trying to sell us, want to go over this together.
Sure. We could do that. Is there a good like spot that you know of that's good, like the library or like common area here? Do you care?
We'll go out into the garden area. It's sunlight's supposed to be good for you and whatnot, and honestly, I will take what freedom I am allowed
Yeah.
at
Okay.
this point.
If you're
I
going
don't
to the
go do that.
garden, you will definitely see Finca like surreptitiously breaking things off of trees and like hoping she isn't noticed. Arm full of branches.
Not that one. Yeah. Okay. 5 meters to the left. And yeah, that tree. That one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Zarso will
There's
just
like
pretend
sap all
he sees
over her
nothing,
face. Gross.
just trying to live up to the I don't see what you're doing, do your own thing. I'm being not a narc.
Good luck with that.
So, while you're pretending to not be a narc, just kidding, he's really not a narc. I just think it's funny. So while you're doing that, you guys are in some free time. You have lunch around noon, so you've got about 2 hours of free time. What is it that each of you do when you have actual free hobby time? And I'm not talking about like you're sitting around writing in your journal or you're studying of your drakes or you're hurling insults like it was yesterday's problem. I'm talking about like, what is it that you do for an actual like soothing hobby? Or to even maybe it's something that you excel in. Maybe you're a cellist and you really love to practice your cello whenever you have free time where you're not like studying or something like that.
Jessix likes to play chess. So you know that old like Pixar short where there's like the old man and like the
Yes.
two like the old man just switching back and forth playing chess. That's Jessix. And she's very much in character in both situations, and she is not regular Jessix when she does it. She's either like super snotty old man or like very small, kind of upset child, or like a little bit of, you know, just whatever. Cowboy sometimes, who knows. And so she just kind of goes back and forth playing chess with herself, unless she's working on her projects, but that's like more of like a job.
All right. So you are off being a chess champion somewhere, practicing for the tournament that you're really excited to actually participate in. That's coming up in 2 weeks. Who else is doing what?
So Kara, who rarely ever goes to class unless she's literally carried there by Phoebe, you know, she watches a lot of movies and stuff in her room. However, when they have actual legit free time and not just free time she has created for herself by shirking her classes, she likes to go to this special room that they've, you know, given her or assigned to her, that when she's in there, she doesn't have to try to control any of her magic. So that's like the most relaxing thing in the world for her. She just goes there, and if things happen, it's okay because the room is fireproof. The room doesn't conduct electricity and stuff like that. So that's where she'll probably go if there's actual free time, and just relax and kind of just like let her frustrations out. And it's interesting because when she's not trying to hold the magic in, she's actually pretty decently in control of it.
Okay. So you spend your time in the room of requirement doing magical things, and it's exciting and freeing for you because you don't have to feel confined or condensed or worry about the ramifications of a simple prestidigitation spell being, you know, an explosion or something. So it's nice for you to be able to do such a thing. Perfect. Fantastic. What about the rest of you?
I mean, apart from, you know, doing our little studying on the blue folders, after that, you know, I would, if given access to it, play some video games, go just unwind, not think, you know, if allowed. If not, you know, and it's not an option, walking whatever grounds are possible, just taking that, like, breathing time to myself.
Yeah, and you're able to. There's an arcade that you can play in. The campus is a lot less restrictive than Cassandra likes to make everybody think it is, just because she's hateful and doesn't like it and wants to be out destroying the rest of the world. But there is a lot of like recreational activity and things here. A lot of the people that you're around, you're noticing, are all like exceptionally smart, aside from the ones that are like exceptionally good at combat. Most everybody is like a prodigal child, where they are really, really good at the things that they do, whether it is art or music or video games or graphic design or whatever it is. And there's a sort of Montessori style with the education here to kind of help those people hone in on the things that they're really good at. So, if you're somebody who does play the cello, then there is like a world-class like orchestra room there, an instructor to be able to help you perfect your skills and play better than Mozart ever could have dreamed of writing, sort of situation. Like, that's the kind of environment. It's very much a big castle-y style campus with very well manicured grounds. There is like a riding track if you are somebody who wants to ride horses. There's a farm sort of area there where there's other like animal husbandry things going on. There's gardens. There's several different types of gardens. There's like vegetable gardens, things that you could eat out of. There's the greenhouses for growing standard medicinal herbs, and then there's the greenhouse that grows things that are a little more of the supernatural variety, more on the magical side that you wouldn't see in the real world, things you didn't know existed until you came here. And so it's like a very nice, very well invested sort of program. Not everybody hates their entire existence of being here. Some people actually feel more comfortable and at home because they are accepted for whatever that one thing is that is different from the rest of mortality. Most people are victims of circumstance of why they're here. A couple people found their way on their own or were spotted using their sort of magical accompaniments in the real world by somebody from the Institute who offered them a safe place to be. Very, it's a very open style place. Like, you're not really, there's clearly a magical barrier to keep the rest. Still just kind of looks like a government research facility on the outside, but inside the grounds, it's very, very Buckingham Palace nice. So you're not in a place that makes you extremely uncomfortable. It's not like being in that Hawkins Institute of Stranger Things. There's only one that is very clinical, and that's the actual research institute itself. So anything that you guys are interested in doing is theirs. So you are able to play video games. There are two different kind of video game arcades. There's one for casual video games, and there is one that is more for people who get really into it, like the virtual reality stuff, gaming competitions. The more serious gamers, it's much more quiet in there. They have kind of like sort of relaxing lo-fi music playing so that they can like maintain their concentration on whatever it is that they're doing. And then there's one that's got like Dance Dance Revolution, Pac-Man, pinball, the whack-a-mole game, like a Chuck E. Cheese style arcade. So there, you could be in either one of those places. I don't know how serious your video games are.
I'm definitely heading to the serious competitive balls to the wall.
Fantastic. So there is gaming rig setups, the ones that are like the big orbital chairs that once you sit in it, it like sinks you down in, and there's the several different screens around. It's got the surround sound. There's a couple of those. There's a whole wall of PC gaming console setups that are all multiple screens, nice ergonomic keyboards and mouses for people to use. And there are also refrigerators in there that have gamer fuel in it, Monster and Slim Jim.
Okay, perfect. I will do the like orbital game chair and just completely zen out of the world. There's no thoughts, just the virtual reality, essentially.
Perfect. All right. So I know what 3 of you are doing. What are the other 2 of you doing?
Go ahead.
I think Phoebe is going to do 2 things. First, she's going to go knock on Vex's like dorm room. And upon not hearing an answer, she's going to run off to Vex's secret room and knock on that door.
Hi.
Can I come in and blow something up? I'll be quick about
Oh, yeah.
it.
Of course.
Thanks. And I'll go in and then I'll sort of like ramp up to it, but like the swear words and curses and just start getting more and more loud and creative. And then eventually, like, she just detonates like a piece of dynamite. And then, okay. Thank you, sweetie. Back to whatever it was you were doing. And then she'll leave.
Okay, bye.
And then once she's sort of, zenified herself, she's going to go back to her room. She's going to grab her laptop and she's going to open up the chat that she has going with the computer science genius on the other side of campus, and is going to start reading some of the forbidden black market dragon research that he has been feeding to her with his hacker skills. And in that really messy, disrespected bookshelf with all of the books she doesn't like, she's going to pull a couple of books out and pull out a little tiny notebook from behind them and start taking notes sort of furiously. Yeah.
All right. Cassandra.
Thing is, divination is not really something consistent or set in stone. There's a lot of open interpretation with a lot of this. It's having to, based off of what you see, have a good enough understanding of people and how they tick, how the environment can affect certain things to really make sense of it all. So I think at first she did have classes with other people, but Cassandra is a very bitter and angry person and tended to try and turn people against the staff. So it has turned into this self-study where she basically tries to study a bit of everything she possibly can to just, even if she can't fully control what she sees, she is going to master understanding it even better than she has at this point. Because if she were better at it, she wouldn't have gotten caught blowing up that building.
Perfecting your criminality. Of course you are. But why wouldn't you be? Why would you not be perfecting your criminality?
To be fair, to a certain extent, they think that she's just studying just because, hey, magic's cool. I want to know how this works. Also, I live in this world. Might as well understand how it works.
But how to not get caught next time.
Yeah. You very careful on how certain requests for certain books are made at this point.
You can come talk to me. I know the people who get that for like fun.
I think I Cassandra probably talks to Phoebe about this every now and then.
How
Just
to get
because-
the good stuff that they
Yeah.
don't want you to have.
Yeah, because I think they pay too much attention to Cassandra after the first few months of her being here.
Got to
And
keep
I-
it even more on the down low than usual.
After a bit, it's like, okay, I need to watch how many times I approach you, otherwise now we're all on the watch list.
Or like how to get the hacker boys to find what you want without tripping any of the keywords that get you in trouble.
Or better yet, I need them to think it's their idea they're doing this.
Also that. Oh yeah, you've got the psych background to make that all happen.
Great. So you're running a criminal smuggling ring in your free time. Glad to know it.
Information smuggling, thank you very much. You shouldn't ban books, kids.
You know, that's
I
a very
told you I was hearing the problem with this character.
no, it's okay.
I warned you.
It's
And
totally
I'm
okay.
more than happy to aid in a bet.
You're meant to be most of you are meant to be problem children in the real world, so it's okay.
I was thinking Jessix is
You have
probably
your
pretty.
couple hours of No, go
Um,
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think Jessix is probably kind of limited in what parts of the campus she's allowed to access because she is a compulsive tinkerer, and things like the video games and arcades and computer labs and all of those things, she will take them apart and build all sorts of crazy shit with it. And that's like what her like job is here is to like put things together for the government. So she's pretty limited in what she's allowed to access without some serious supervision. Like she's got to, before she goes into her project room, she has to be like searched and somebody has to have eyes on her while she's doing her projects, and she's got cameras everywhere. And it's like a whole big shebang for her to get into her project room.
Yeah, it would make sense to make sure that no sensitive technological information or gadgetry is being taken in or out of a highly controlled, sort of project operation. That would make absolute sense. And I'm going to probably assume that everybody has something that they can or can't do. Each of you have your own limitations and regulations. You've all been in the institute for a different amount of time. You're all at different age groups and different age mentalities, even regardless of your body age. Some of you are still tiny children. So I'm saying each of you probably knows your restrictions and your limitations. If you have questions or want to work something out, we will do so in our spare time. But it's your way of life for as long as you've been here. Kara, you've been here since you were what, 5 or 6 years old? So it's been quite some time. How old are you now, Kara?
Probably like 17. So.
Yeah, so a good 10 plus years you've been there. So some of you are just coming. Zarso's been here only a month and a half. So about the time you were going into the Animus for the first time is when Zarso was showing up. So each of you has, earned different privileges, some of you know very well what your punishment is if you go pushing past standard limitations and you lose your free time for the week sort of situations. I'm sure maybe one or two of you has experienced that a little more in depth than the rest of you. But it's not a place that's meant to be punishment regardless of what actually brought you here, right? It's meant to give you a safe space in the world and also add some benefit to the people who are providing that for you. They're not pumping out a bunch of money for a bunch of magically gifted children for no benefit for their own selves, of course. Why? Capitalism doesn't work that way. Thank you. Yeah. But each of you know what you are and aren't allowed to do. Like Jessix very well knows that they're monitored and not allowed to go to a lot of places that everybody else is. Kara knows that there's only one place on campus that she can fully do magic with no restrictions. Phoebe, you know all of the right places to find the little bits of information that you are not provided in your normal studies, and how to access some things that you probably shouldn't. Cassandra, you are perfecting criminality. That's all I have for you. That's all you're doing.
I am technically helping these students. They are developing thicker skins and learning how to deal with difficult patients. I am helpful.
Help is subjective, I think. Here.
I used to work in a psych hospital, and what she said is definitely not the worst thing I've heard. So if that.
Would you like me to give you something nice Cassandra does then? Is that what you're wanting?
Yes. Yes.
Cassandra paints.
She paints. You know what? I like that. I like that she paints. I'm glad that you have a vice besides. I think being a criminal is not your vice. I think it's your way of life.
There you go. You can have one
I
nice
don't know, man.
thing. One.
Making the psych students cry, I think, is legit fun.
I feel
like she paints, but she paints like counterfeit pictures, like famous pictures, you know?
I don't know.
You counterfeit Monets.
Yeah.
Kara has no idea what she's contributing to this facility at all because she doesn't do jack shit other than watch movies. But, you know, I must be doing something because I'm still here.
I mean, you're here and not destroying something else. So there's that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I imagine, like, the
that
more
right there is the help of society.
I think the more destructive people choose to dial it back whenever Kara's involved. Like, oh god.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the reason that no one like forces Kara to like get dressed or go to class is because the last time they did force her to go to class, that classroom, you know, exploded.
You can't force the fire starter to do things besides start a fire. That's it. That's the only thing you can force a fire starter into, starting a fire. That's it.
Like, I imagine when we get too destructive and Kara is involved, if we make Kara cry, there's just this, oh no, that we have actually crossed the line. Oh dear.
And that's the design of the medicine too, right? Like you take 2 pills. You take 2 because you're in one of the focus projects. You take the one that's meant to help with the side effects of going into the Animus, and you take the one that everybody else on campus takes that's meant to, without saying suppress your powers, essentially that meant to kind of like tone them down and make them less, you know, blow up a whole elementary school because you didn't get chocolate milk at snack time sort of situation, and more like you just got your paperwork on your desk on fire because you didn't get the A+, you got an A- sort of situation. So it doesn't completely take everything away. It just kind of numbs the nerve endings that make that part of your brain fire, and they fire a little slower and less potently.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so when I take my medicine, I would probably only be able to set like a Quickie Mart on fire.
Only a Quickie Mart. So you spend your couple hours having your downtime before your lunch and stuff. Steve comes back around, gives you your afternoon round, and then you head off to your lunch. And then you have your classes in the evening. You still have not seen Nurse Kira all day, which is extremely weird because you've seen her every single day of being in the Institute, aside from, you know, when you're in the Animus and today. So it's just like this staple person not there. It's like when the secretary is gone and you notice the secretary is gone because they didn't bring in the office coffee in the morning, and the donuts in the break room are the one from 2 days ago because she didn't replace them, sort of thing. It's like that kind of feeling. It's like this like almost kind of weight, like you're feeling the weight of her absence, but not necessarily negatively. It just isn't that little added bit of sunshine to your situation that you're used to. And it's like members that you deal with that are taking over her normal duties are much more clinical rather than like the personal bedside manner that she has. She's much preferred by everybody here too. Dr. Richard, but
she's nice.
She's not here.
She actually has a spine.
Yeah, she is. She's like that, like, you know, your big sister, right? Like, she'll do everything for you, but also kick you in the shin when you're being a little bastard sort of situation. Very much like that. Like, knows when to put you into place when you need to be. But other than that, she's actually personal. She doesn't treat you like test subjects and gifted children. She treats you like people. She treats you like actual living, breathing human beings like you are, instead of being, you know, treated like a science project. Or
she can definitely get Kara to take her medicine without juice.
I would 100% agree that is correct, and probably has convinced Kara that even though she's taking her medicine every day for the last 14 days with water in the morning, that she's actually been taking it with juice, but she wasn't there to give it to you this morning, so no placebo effect. There was no close your eyes, plug your nose, picture your favorite beach scene, and, you know, went down with ease. It was, here's your shit, goodbye. So.
Yep. So when I don't remember jack shit when we go into the Animus tomorrow, Steve's fault.
We'll just blame Steve. Everybody blames Steve. So.
This is why his marriage is falling apart. This is why.
Poor Steve. You have your lunch, you attend your afternoon classes. Like I said, there's a wide variety of age ranges between your group alone. So, you know, some of you are off in super college-y classes. Some of you are in more like rudimentary, elementary style classes. Just however you need to be taught is how you're being taught. And that is the kind of group that you're in. And those are the classes that you're taking until about 4-ish when you're released, and then you're able to get ready for dinner. You all have your packets, and you will be able to read them and know what they say, you know, and all of that to prepare you for your Wednesday morning, aka next session, launch into the Animus for the first time in season 2.
Woo.
And you'll have, hopefully, Nurse Kira back before you launch into the Animus. That would be ideal.
I like dealing with her.
AKA Nurse Kira is actually JJ, and JJ we love dearly, but is on vacation without us and was unable to make first session. So Nurse Kira is not here to do Nurse Kira things. So that being said, season 2 is officially launched. You will be shot back into UT next week when you get hooked up to wires and go back into the Animus. I am going to provide you after the show the contents of your packet, so you'll know kind of what you're going into, your overall mission, and a few key people that bring the season. Course outline style season information, and then that'll be it. That's all I got for you tonight, kiddos.
All right. Woo.
Woo woo. Happy season 2 beginnings.
Yay!
Way to bully the new guy, you big jerks.
Hey, we can talk about that in the after show.
Save it for the after show. Take it outside.
Well, that being said, season 2 we are not doing an after show.
Oh.
I feel like I knew that.
That's okay. We can still talk once the cameras are off.
Yeah, our above the table talk is going to be off screen for this season and probably all consecutive seasons.
Okay. Fair. Then
Cheryl reviews secrets.
Yeah, after
See?
show was an experiment last season, so I'm going to try it out, see how I liked it. I have pluses and minuses to it, but I think personally I'm just going to go with the private table talk after the show, because my thought is, like, when you're on the spot on camera, you're not really processing the after the session thoughts, because I'm still not processing after session thoughts in the after show. So as a player, like as somebody who plays too, I know like that post game high that you're kind of riding, and I feel like the after show kind of takes away from that, and I just don't want to. I want that after we shut the show down. I want to hear thoughts and stuff, but like in a more candid, relaxed situation than still having to pay attention to the camera.
That's fair.
I did
Alright.
enjoy having the after show when we did, though. So, but on that note, we appreciate everybody who came in this evening and watched our premiere. We are going to raid out over to Sensei Suplex and catch everybody back next week for season 2, episode 2 of Igniting the Fires.
Yay!
I'm going to roll our outro, and then I'll see you guys after the show.